Hello there, sixth grade. One more lesson to wrap up our Bill of Rights discussion. As you recall, yesterday we went through the first five of the 10 Bill of Rights, or the amendments to the Constitution that we call the Bill of Rights. So the Bill of Rights are those first 10 amendments. And so let's do a really rapid, quick review. So the first five that we went through yesterday: the right of freedom of speech, religion, assembly, and to petition the government, all that good stuff, and the press. Number two, the right to bear arms. Number three, the soldiers can't live in your house. Number four, they have to have a good reason to arrest you and throw you in jail. They can't just come kick your door in and take your stuff and throw you in jail. And then number five is about the rights of people who are accused of crimes. And these are important. What you're going to see here is that amendments 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 all kind of go together to protect people when they're in trouble, to make sure that things are fair. And you're going to see that theme kind of continue as we go through today. So let's move along and let's look at the next amendment. We've got the Sixth Amendment, which the first one protected people when they were accused of crimes, and it said they're allowed to have due process and things like that. The Sixth Amendment adds a few very important things to that. If you are actually on trial, you have the right to a speedy trial. It has to be fast. Impartial jury, meaning the people have to not have bias against you. You have to know why you're being accused of your crime. They can't just say you're arrested for high crimes and then not explain it to you. And then you are also allowed to have a lawyer with you to protect you and to defend you. So this is amendment number 6. It's pretty important when it comes to due process. And, if they're giving you a fair trial, it has to have all the things. So they must be fast and public. They can't just throw you in jail and say, we're going to put you on trial in the year 2055. Because that would be due process, but it has to be fast as the system can handle it. It has to be impartial. They can't come in and say, you're guilty. We know it. We're just going to go through this and pretend that we're doing it. They have to be impartial and fair. A jury of peers, meaning people in the public. It can't just be some government official. And the jury can't be biased against you. So it's like if you get in a fight with someone and they put you on trial for it, they can't put that person's family on the jury because they would obviously be biased against you. So that protects people against those things. It keeps things fair. The Seventh Amendment goes, I'm going to go very quickly through this one. What it really says is that if you are in a trial, you're allowed to have a trial if there's not even a crime involved. If there's a dispute but no crime, you can have a jury trial. So basically, it's just that. It provides a jury for trials that don't involve crime. So like a car accident. It wasn't a crime, it was an accident, but who's going to pay for it? If your dog bites someone, who's going to pay those medical bills? Is it you? Is it the other person? You can have a trial to decide that. It's kind of boring, but it is important. All right, the Eighth Amendment. This is a big one. This one's super important because this one really protects people from bad things happening to them. So it says that excessive bail should not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishment inflicted. That's really what people think about is the cruel and unusual punishment aspect of this. This is really keeping it fair. So what this one really says is you can't have excessive bail or fines. If you go to the store and steal a candy bar, they can't throw you in jail and say there's $1 million bond. It's not in line with what would be reasonable in that situation. Cruel punishment. They can't throw you in a dungeon and leave you down there to rot and starve you for days until you admit to doing something. That's cruel punishment. They have to treat you fairly. And the punishment has to fit the crime. Murder is going to get the worst kind of punishment, but stealing a candy bar or something is going to get the least punishment, which it should be. It has to be in line. So as I was saying before, when you talk about the amendments 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, they all kind of go together to protect people who are either in a dispute, accused of crimes, or in a situation where they have to be defended against the government. Remember, the Constitution defines the powers of the government, and everything else really, and this part defines the rights of the people, which brings us to number 9. This is a good one. Number 9, it's hard to really explain it, but it really comes down to non-enumerated rights. What? I kind of don't make sense out of that just thinking about it, but here's what it really boils down to. It just responds to the fact that Not everything and not every right we have is listed in those first 8 amendments. There's more there that's underlying. It's not all kind of laid out everything. So what it basically says is this also means that you have the right to move around. You can live wherever you want. You can take whatever kind of job you want. You can associate with people. As long as you're not breaking other laws, all that stuff is legal and they can't take that away from you. It's an important amendment, even though it's kind of tricky to really think about what it means. And then finally, the 10th Amendment is all about states' rights. Not the most exciting thing, but it is important because it sets up our system of what we call federalism. And it basically says that the powers that are not in the Constitution, not specifically laid out for the federal government, those kind of get to become the states' rights. And it allows the states to have their own laws. We're seeing a lot of that right now with this pandemic, where different states are doing different things. Some states are opening up their businesses while others are waiting and holding back. This is what the 10th Amendment really allows. The federal government can only go so far before you have to hand things over to the people in the individual states. And the 10th Amendment does a good job of explaining that. And it creates our system of what we call federalism. The United States is not a democracy, a pure democracy. It is a federal republic, meaning there's a central government and many smaller state governments that all work together to act as the grand government. All right. So anyway, that's it. I'm going to stop talking now. I did this in about 7 minutes, which isn't too bad. But I'm going to just wrap up here. So the Bill of Rights, a super important piece of the Constitution, which is a super important document. But could somebody help me understand this? Congress. I hope that's not a typo. That would be embarrassing if the founding fathers really screwed that up. Or maybe that's just the weird way they wrote stuff. They thought they were being fancy. There's one S, but not another one. I don't know. Anyway, the Bill of Rights is super important and it's super good to know. Now, you have a job to do. Go and fill out that second Google form to prove that you are a Bill of Rights master. Have a great day, and I think I'll see you again tomorrow. Cool. All right, everybody. Enjoy. Peace.